Amazing. Podcasting with the massive man. All right,
go,
so
baby.
so I want to hear your whole story, man, from the front to the back, because that's I think what
Are we talking music? Are we talking
well,
weight loss journey?
I'll ask you.
Okay.
I'll start with this question,
Okay.
which is when, and I'm actually curious. When was the very first time you rapped in your whole life?
Oh my God.
Do you even remember?
I was probably a teenager. I would say maybe like 15 years old. You know what I'm going to do for you? I have this on my phone, and I'm going to play it right through the mic.
Yes.
It's actually one of my first recorded raps that I recorded at home.
Oh, yeah.
And I sounded like, I've shown people this before, and it's kind of, some people say it's adorable. Some people say like, wow, that was cringy. So we'll just see. Let me pull it up while we're talking.
I'm sure it's both.
It's bad. It's really bad. This is the first beginning days of Nico rapping. Let's see if it's still here because I posted so much content. I got to look for it and got to get internet signal and everything. But we'll talk while I find it.
So when you you were 15 when you started.
Yeah.
And when you were 15, how much did you weigh then?
I remember the earliest I remember of my weight, I was like 320 when I was 18. That's what I can tell you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was like 320. I was always a bigger kid. I started out actually, I was the smallest baby out of my brother, me and my sister when we came out. I weighed the least and was the smallest. And now I'm the biggest.
Times have changed.
Yeah, times have changed. However,
you're still the baby?
No, I'm the middle child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a brother who's 9 years older than me.
Yep.
And my sister's 1 year younger.
And they don't do music at all.
So my sister actually started the YouTube and music thing way before me, and she has like a channel like way back. She used to play acoustic guitar, and she even did like a performance one time that I went to.
Oh, wow.
She made her own music, and she actually, in the early days of my stuff, she used to sing in some of my songs.
What's her name?
Jade.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
cool.
my sister. And my brother's name is CJ or Chris.
Oh, nice.
It's not loading in here, the internet.
I didn't.
You have Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah. Studio NH.
Okay.
Studio
Is
NH.
it just open?
If you got to do the password, it's just Studio NH, all lowercase.
Gotcha, perfect. You just leaked your password for everybody.
Good. Yeah, so that's cool. So would you say your sister like inspired you to kind of get into it?
I think music has run in my family because my grandfather, he's Italian. He plays in his own folk band. He passed away, unfortunately, but I come from an Italian family. So my dad came to Italy from Italy on the boat when he was 13. He came to this country, and my grandfather played in an Italian folk band called Calabria Bella. They have some videos on YouTube I can show you another time, but
it's very Italian.
He plays the tambourine and sings a little bit and stuff like that. So that's where I know the music came from, kind of my dad's side. And then my sister loved playing guitar and writing her own music. And I got into it. I wanted to start a band with my cousin and my sister when I was a little kid. And just, I always loved music, but I got into hip hop around high school. Actually, maybe early middle school, I got into hip hop because a lot of my friends or classmates would listen to Eminem, and I kind of got involved in what they were doing, and we would rap battle in the lunchroom and just have fun. And I'm like, hey, I really like this. I like rhyming and coming up with words and doing these different things.
Did you ever have any?
You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the file.
Yeah,
when I do it, and we'll just insert it here because it's not loading. So insert song here, and listen to my cringiness.
Perfect.
Hit the beat. Man, that's weak. Show me something else. What's up, people? It's Nico D. I'm back better than ever. As you can see, I'm the best white rapper in history. Eminem ain't got nothing on me. I'm untouchable. You can't see me. Always signing autographs, making CDs. I'm the #1 hit in the music industry. Can't you see? That's why all the ladies love me. Get off your seat, stand up on your feet, and cheer last time for Nico D.
Eminem ain't got nothing on me. Like, it's just it's so cringy.
The classic
Oh,
tale
it's so bad.
of the beginnings of a white rapper.
Yeah, facts. He's calling out Eminem on my first rap, dude.
Was there any like really crazy battles that happened in the lunchroom that you recall?
There was just because we were trying to do it off the top and come up with random stuff and like think 5 seconds before we did it. So there was nothing crazy. But the person who got me into rapping, his name is James Travis, and he went by MC Checks. And I remember later on in life, we just did rap battles online for fun and just calling out each other. And I was like, check this, I wreck shit. I eat checks for breakfast. A spoon in a bowl leaves this bitch defenseless. Did I mention battling you ain't fair? You play patty cake and run a daddy daycare. just stupid stuff, man. But
so you were really like a battle rapper at first, a young one, but you were.
I wouldn't really consider that. I had fun doing it, and I actually really love writing diss tracks. That's the thing about me. A lot of people don't know. Like, I love just coming up with crazy stuff like that. Well, I've done it a few times, and there's some good ones I have in the vault.
Well, who are they at? Can you leak it?
Yeah. One was just, I'll even rap it. My friend Tony, if he's watching this, he's my tattoo artist. He has done all my tattoos on my arm. My first one by him was the Massive Man, but he did my sleeves. And he has a funny sense of humor. Okay. And he goes, I want you to write a diss on me, and I just want to see how hard you can roast me. I said, okay. So on Christmas, I posted a video and tagged him, and I said, this is your Christmas present.
It's a kind of a risky thing to diss your tattoo artist.
Yeah, right? He's drawing little penises in there, and I don't even notice. So like,
what are your tattoos? I know they're like a lot of horror stuff, right?
Well, yes, on this arm it is. So this arm, I paid like respect to all my songs that I did. So it has my artist name, Massive Man. I don't know if this camera's picking it up, but it says Massive Man right here.
Yeah.
I did a song called Toxic Lovers, and I don't know if you're gonna have to zoom in or what, but it's like a love potion bottle. It's like all my songs. It's a love potion bottle that has a crack in it with a skull and crossbones, and it's oozing out. So that's like a Toxic Lover song. Fallen Angel is written here with angel wings. It's all my songs. So not fair.
So you just add a new tattoo every time you put a song out?
No. These are like the songs that started it all. I don't want to get any more tattoos than this because one, they're expensive, and Tony hooked me up with a deal of a lifetime. And if I paid full price for all this, the first session I did was like 13 hours. And it didn't even cover the outline of this whole arm because I have a lot of skin to cover. And we had to go back multiple times and stuff like that to get it perfect. But tattooing I didn't realize it when I'm like, hey, can you hook me up? He's like, I guess. You know what I mean? Because we're good friends. And Sean was our best friend who I've wrote the song Not Fair for, and I wrote The Other Side for. If you don't know Sean, you should. He's a very important part of my life.
I don't know Sean.
He's passed away, actually. He unfortunately committed suicide. And he was my best friend. And he was at all my concerts, all my shows, cheering me on. He was a hype man on stage for one of them.
Wow, I didn't know you had a best friend that committed suicide, man.
Yeah, it's a little dark.
That's tough. When did that happen? Like, how old were you when
it was years ago. I was in my 20s. He was on one of my first big music videos that I ever filmed, Like a Freak, which is probably taken off YouTube now. I'm not sure if it's still on there. But like, he was always there supporting me, taking me to my shows. And like, there was one time I was stranded in, I think, Washington, DC or whatever. And I'm like, I went to go visit a girl that I thought was super interested in me. And it just didn't work in person. So I was stuck there. And I'm like, Sean, help. He's like, I'm driving to you. Just pay me gas. When I said word, he drove to Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Picked me up and went back the same day. I'm like, you're an amazing friend.
That's a good friend right there.
I love that guy. And I wish he was still here to see all the success and all the great things happening.
Oh, man, I wish he was still here too.
You would have loved him.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have. Well, life comes at you. You can't really... you can't really do anything but take what happens as it happens, right?
Yeah.
So you've been on your thing right now is you're on this epic weight loss journey.
Yeah.
Which I am like so proud of you, dude. And like, I really am. And I think you're, how many pounds are you down right now?
I'm down 115.
115.
Yeah.
Probably by the time, this thing comes out,
It'll be more for sure.
It'll be more.
Yeah.
Like like, what's the rate you're losing weight right now?
I think the first, roughly, I don't have ballpark figures, but it would probably be like 10 pounds a week, but the first week was like 20, then it was like 15, and then 10 after. You know what I mean? It's just like, roughly average.
But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so you're losing 10 pounds a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you're doing it on the shake.
Yeah. So Control, they're a great company. They reached out to me, and because I was started drinking a different brand of shakes, and I was reaching out to them 24/7, and they weren't responding.
Right.
And I knew I was selling them product because people were in the comments like, I'm getting it because of you. I'm da-da-da-da. So Control reached out to me like, they're dumb for not sponsoring you. We got you. We believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, great.
And they gave me the shakes I needed to do the diet. They're providing that, and they gave me a discount code. So use Mass of Man, all one word, capitals, if you're going to buy a Control shake.
So break it down for the people that don't know. Like
I'm having all shakes.
And
so,
no food.
Yes, and water with black coffee. And so I can have water, I can have black coffee, and I'll dump the shake in to make the coffee like creamier or whatever, and that will be one of my meals, like a black coffee mixed with the shake.
Yeah.
I can have like Powerade or Gatorade Zero.
Okay.
As long as it's zero. And I'll still lose the weight. I don't normally, if I'm going to treat myself, I'm allowed to have a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke, but something with no sugar and the calories. You got to watch out for like the sodium and stuff like that. But and other people will say it's not healthy to drink, but I'll still lose the weight doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can have that. And I have teas from Fuel Good Nutrition. It's like a tea spot by me. It's like Herbalife. I think they use Herbalife stuff, but they make like these flavorful fruity teas and stuff. They actually gave me my own tea they made it the Massaman Pot of Gold for
nice.
March. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. They're a cool local company that definitely I go to them every morning and get a tea as a treat. It gives me a good burst of flavor, and I can have it on my diet. So,
and after you've stopped eating, have you felt like you have like ton more energy than you used to?
Oh yeah. To be honest, the first 2 to 3 weeks are brutal. I felt like an addict going through a withdrawal.
Yeah.
That's the sucky part, like going through that. But once I got accustomed to it, I can get around easier because of the weight I've lost. I have energy. I feel great. I was just showing, I had to sit down to perform when I was doing those reels with Andrew and stuff like that. And I was doing reels for the album with Anakin.
Yep.
And I was standing, moving, walking, doing the whole thing. So it's just like, I'm not as limited when it comes to music videos. You saw the trailer that we did? Yeah. I was in the ocean. I was crawling, army crawling. I was just like, I can do cooler stuff now in my videos, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, pretty soon you're going to be just doing full sprints. And
I'm going to be doing those kicks like Gon saw me do.
Kung Fu stuff.
Yeah.
What would you say is, because I know Anakin's been with you through the whole thing, and I'm assuming this is the answer, but what would you say is like your most motivating factor to the weight loss? Like what's actually making you stop from eating?
I think the fans holding me accountable and Anakin pushing me top with this cool project that we're doing, because if you don't know, the weight loss journey is also being turned into a documentary and a music video. So we made a song about weight loss and my struggle with weight loss with a crazy chorus from this artist, Michael Manelli, who's going viral right now on a bunch of different platforms for some of the content he's making with his music. We actually just went to a show of his. It's great. But I'm walking almost every day, and we're filming it in the same location, the same spot with the same camera angle.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking and rapping my song in the same location every day, it's going to be cutting every day, and you're going to slowly see me shrink as I'm walking. I'm shrinking and shrinking till I get to the end of the road or whatever, and I'm at my goal weight. So that's going to be the thing. You're going to slowly see the weight fall off of me as I'm rapping my song.
Yeah, so it's a great idea.
I think on the last day, I'm going to want a bunch of people out there. And a cool thing about Control, I was talking to them. It's not set in stone yet, so I don't want to promise anything. But Rick Ross is a huge investor in the Control Shakes. And my goal is to strike some sort of deal or something where he might come out for the last day repping the Control brand and be there for the last day of the walk. And, you know, maybe
Doesn't Rick Ross have a weight loss story as well? He does, right?
Yeah, I know. Control told me they reached out to him, showed him their product, and he's like, "I love this product. It tastes amazing." Like, because they make cookies and bars too, and he's like, "It tastes really good. I love what you guys are doing." He wanted to get behind it. So that's what Alex was telling me, the owner of the company, and so they have a connection with him, and he owns a big share in this. So we're trying to do something, even if it's a social media post, or maybe have him come out for the last day of the walk with, you know, selling Control.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome to have him in the video and stuff.
He's a really nice guy.
I heard he owns a lot of different businesses and he has his hands in a lot of things. So.
Yeah, I worked with him one time, and his ride. You know how celebrity people they have riders. You know, when you do a video or whatever, they'll have like all these items that you need to get them for their food or whatever. Rick Ross only had almonds.
Almonds?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
It was the only thing on his rider. It was
it's
the
so
best,
cool that I know you.
Rider.
You work with so many cool people. You should tell them in here if they don't know who you've worked with, because it's so fascinating to me. These are all. I'll do it if you don't. He's worked with Joyner Lucas. He's worked with Token. He's worked with Chris Brown. He's worked with Rick Ross.
Massive Man.
He's worked with me. Yeah. Let's go, baby.
That's the important thing right now. I worked with you.
Yeah, but your credentials are huge, man, and you're so good at what you do. And I love the video we're about to release. And
I love that. I love that video. I love the video.
Me too. I'm stoked. They're not ready for it.
We've done some good ones. I gotta say, I'm partial because I'm just such a Kubrick fan to the Kubrick one we did, obviously. So I was really happy that you said yes to that concept, because I've been wanting to do that one for a while. That video was really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that knew everything about it, and I was not hip to the Kubrick train until you showed me, and I went and watched The Shining right after.
Yeah. Have you seen?
I haven't seen the other ones. I haven't seen the one. I haven't seen Clockwork Orange or Full Metal Jacket. I got to see it.
Yeah. Full Metal Jacket, especially because that was your scene.
Yeah, I know. What I was gonna say is, Anakin, having him here, he has lists of movies he needs to watch, movies that he needs to tell people to watch. He has them broken down by subcategories in his phone. He's been showing me the coolest movies. I've been watching so many good movies because of Anakin. He's like, you have to watch this one. I've already watched it, but we're going to rewatch it. Like, this is why you got to watch this one. What are you in the mood for? Like, he's like an AI for Netflix. He's basically like, what are you in the mood for? Comedy? Rom-com? Or... you know, he breaks it down. He's like, this is the one we're watching tonight. I'm like, okay.
It's good. It's good to be inspired, man, by things. Would you say there's like a movie or a show or anything that has been like a bigger inspiration than any other thing towards your music or your videos?
Well, I can tell you what my favorite TV series is for sure, and it's Supernatural. I watched all the seasons of it. Have you ever heard of Supernatural?
I don't even know what that is. No,
what?
I'm out of
you
the
don't know
loop,
Sam
man.
and Dean Winchester? What is going on?
I'm sorry.
It started off with like their monster hunters, so they would hunt vampires, werewolves. It'd go into myth legends like Loch Ness, and it'd go into like Bigfoot type, just all different things. And then it churned later in the seasons. It churned into angels and demons, and it just got really like.
Is that where the inspiration for that came from?
What?
The Angels and Demons?
You mean Fallen Angel?
Yeah.
No, that was just me having a conversation with my depression one night. I was just like, like, hi, depression, how you been? And then my friend came over at the time, and we wrote that song, you know? But it has a lot of like creepy, eerie stuff going on. And I love to do. I don't watch horror movies. People wouldn't believe this, but I don't like horror movies that much. But all my music is like devil. And
I was gonna say
scary stuff.
You make horror movies.
Yeah.
That is surprising.
Yeah, I know. People are just like, what? But there's a girl I'm talking to right now that I just met, and she's a special interest in my life. And her name's Emma. And
are you dating this person?
Most likely, that's what's going to happen.
Person?
She's long distance. She's going to come visit me. We're going to play it by ear and stuff like that. But she's super into horror movies, and Anakin really likes them too. And so does Massetti. Massetti's a horror love her.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
The music he listens to is nothing like the music he makes. He listens to ICP, Twisted, like all the underground rappers and horrorcore stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, which is so strange to me when he sings this beautiful music. It's like me not liking horror and singing.
Yeah.
But
It's weird. It's like if I was interviewing ICP and they were like, "We don't like clowns. We just really don't like them."
yeah, that's exactly what it's like. I got to meet ICP through Chris Calico. He took me on stage and rapped in the concert. He pulled me on stage, talked about my weight loss journey, and he introduced me to Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J. So I recently got to meet them, which was cool.
Sick, man. Yeah, like the climb that you've been on, like would you say that because there's a lot of probably new artists watching that are interested in like how do you do this as an independent artist? Because you're fully independent,
Yeah.
right? So doing what you have done as an independent artist has taken a lot of consistency and things like that. But what would you attribute like your earlier like climb to the
So okay, I'm gonna go back to that and I'm gonna tell you in a second, but I wanted to finish my thought. So I told you I was told you I was seeing that girl in horror movies.
Oh yes.
Anakin, is he right back here?
He's probably hiding.
Okay. I think is it called not Evil Dead? Is that a horror movie?
That is a horror
Evil
movie.
Dead. Does it start with like a shotgun scene and somebody?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen it?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not really a horror.
I believe she made me watch The Evil Dead. I believe that's what it was called. And she's like, "This is my favorite horror movie. You have to watch it." I watched it and I was mortified. So she got me to watch this horror movie and I was like mortified at it. I was like, she's like, "How do you like it?" I'm like, "I'm indifferent." But I watched it for her. So
like me, I like the psychological stuff. But
I like Saw and the stuff where they make you think and you have to make decisions. And
even Saw is a little on the line, but when it gets to being like bloody slasher stuff, then I start to not be interested as much.
Makes me have an upset stomach and not feel that good.
Yeah. And you can't afford to have an upset stomach.
I did the other night. I caught a stomach bug, man. It was brutal, but I'm fine now, so I'm doing good. So. But okay, so starting in the career, let's go back to that.
Yes.
So I think my first big thing was I played this video game called RuneScape, and there was a community channel run by this guy, Chris Archie. Okay. And I rapped at the time, but I was only getting like 100 views, 50 views, stuff like that. And I made a rap about the video game that I play. And I submitted it. And they didn't do anything. So I submitted it again months later. I'm like, I don't know, he should really like this. So I did it again. And somebody else had submitted a rap and they put it together in a community channel with over 100K subscribers. And the video got like 80,000 views on his channel and it trickled down to 13,000 views on my channel. So my fans could see it. And I got a bunch of video game followers. So that gave me my first 2K subscribers. So it gave me some of an audience. So I continue doing some RuneScape stuff, some raps for that. And I'm like, I really want to do like real music, not be a video game gimmick type person. So I started making some content. I made about quite a few rap videos. I think Like a Freak, when I made that, we got all our friends and family to listen and just some people. And I got that up to eventually like 13,000 views too. Just from, I built it off the video game stuff and then transitioned and people still followed me for it. I think the most important thing is consistency, to keep putting out product until something hits, because I was doing stuff and wasn't getting that much traction. But when I made that song Fallen Angel, that was the thing that took off my career.
Yeah.
It started to average 12,000 views a day. And it just kept going and going and going. It's at the point where it's gotten over like 40 million plays on all streaming platforms. It's my biggest song.
Yeah.
And I didn't put any promotion behind it. It organically did super well.
Which goes to show you if you make something really
if you make something really great, you know, it worked on every platform we posted it on. So that just tells you it's good. You know what I mean? If it works on every platform, and I uploaded it different times and it goes viral every time, that means like you can make a viral song and it's because it's good, not, you know, or it does something. It wasn't fluke, it wasn't luck. So I feel like if you make good, consistent product, your quality's top tier, I feel like they got to be able to compete with the stuff they hear on the radio. And if they don't do that, they're going to get left behind. So you need to be really good at writing, really good at making songs, and really good at, having a good audio quality and making really good videos. I think TikTok is more important, like TikTok Reels, Shorts and stuff is gonna get you farther nowadays than full-length music videos, as much as it sucks. I think making full-length music videos is still important for your brand.
Yeah.
That's why I go all out when I do music videos, because those can hit and go viral, and they make way more money than TikToks and Reels and stuff like that. And my views aren't as high as they used to be on YouTube, and I know my product's good. You know what I'm saying? But all the platforms are putting more attention on the short form content now, because they can also pay less out too with short form content. They can get away with it. So all the platforms are really pushing short form content right now.
Yeah.
But there is a special thing that your fans really appreciate about the full length music videos. And if you're a big artist like NF or Eminem or something, you put out a music video, it's going to do great regardless, So once you have the following for it.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I've seen some big artists put out some
Yeah.
videos and they didn't do that great.
Well, I'm talking like A-list celebrities where like Kanye. If Kanye put out a video right now, you're telling me it would definitely do more than a couple million.
Maybe Kanye.
Okay, yeah, but I'm talking like big artists, like A-list celebrity. Like if Eminem put out a song right now in a video, it's gonna do numbers regardless.
Yeah.
I
guess it's just relative and to the perspective you're at.
Yeah,
right. Because it's like what's bad for
even
some people.
Even if you did a video of you taking a shit on a toilet and just said, new music video coming soon, it's gonna do over 1 million if it's Eminem. You know what I mean? Like
maybe if you did that.
That's great. We gotta have you taking a shit in a music video.
Bing bing idea. What you said? You said like what makes it good, and like or it has to be good. But my question is, what's good? What is good to you? Because it's so subjective, right?
Art is subjective for sure. Like I feel like I have an ear to tell like what's good and what's not. It can even be a different style. I mean, I can tell when somebody's talented and when somebody's not. I don't know how to say it, but I can just tell.
Like, is it the tone? Is it the
yeah?
You say like the writing is good. Like, what's good writing?
If you're off beat, that's a no-go. You know what I mean? If you can't keep a good flow pocket and you're rapping off beat, or if you're off key, those are things that you need to fix.
Are you kind of counter that whole ignorant rap thing where like people are almost on purpose
like mumble rapping and like are you talking about like that?
Yeah, because there is a lane for being offbeat.
I agree with you, but I feel the reason that artists like I don't want to say this is early in my career. I don't want to fuck up what I'm about to say.
You gotta just make a diss track.
Yeah, right. I think artists like, for example, let's use Tekashi 6ix9ine because he's even said in an interview, I don't even know what I'm doing when it comes to rap. He literally admitted, like, he doesn't know. He's like, what does that even mean? I said it and I don't even know what it means, but it sounds catchy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good rapper. However, very good business person and very good entertainer. You can sell music off entertainment and not be good. Hate does fuel a lot of stuff. So you can be a bad rapper, but as long as you're a good entertainer and stir up controversy and drama and have people's eyes on you because of something else and integrate music into it, that can work too. I don't like that it can work. I'm kind of mad at the fact it works like that because I believe talent should be the thing that succeeds when it comes to being talented in a skill. However, there are other ways to get famous with music, and you don't have to be good at music.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I want to say. I know people like have mixed opinions about him, but I think the fact that he did that and built that business off of being ignorant and causing hate and stuff, I think it's cool. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, hey, like there's something for everybody, man.
Yeah.
That's why I always say like to do, you is the most important thing. Like if you are putting out the thing that you want to hear.
And that might be the thing he wants to put out for people to hear. And, and the thing about that is, even though I don't think he's that good at music, he's gotten better over the years, you know what I mean? Just by doing it enough times.
And that's the thing too. Sometimes people come out and they're like bad at first.
I was terrible when I first started. I was garbage. Like I was bad. I'm going to show you. Yeah. Dude, people would like, if I told you like, at 15 years old, I'm going to be a good rapper when I grow up, dude. He'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, wouldn't expect it. So
would you say that this like whole weight loss journey has gained you? I feel like your fanship is going up big
Yeah,
time
so I
right
was
now,
at like
right?
200K monthly listeners, and when I announced that I did music on my weight loss journey, people went and checked it out. I'm at 246,000 right now, about to drop an album. That number's about to go up, you know, and when fans see the album and stuff, my monthly listeners are definitely growing on Spotify for sure.
Yeah.
I can see it just on Spotify, so I imagine all the other platforms that people are streaming on too, that I don't look at the statistics for, it's going up.
Yeah,
So,
because man, I love it, man. I love I think you actually doing this for you and seeing the progression and how vulnerable you are too, like has been very impressive to me. Like you come on these posts and say things that are on your mind that are sometimes dark or sometimes not necessarily um something that makes you look cool.
yeah.
But you just say it anyway, and that's what's to me is very beautiful.
So I had a talk with Anakin, and he's very good at like pulling emotion out of performance or like talking to people. And he's like, dude, he told me before he was going to get down here, he's like, there's days where I'm going to show, like, it made me so uncomfortable to think about, but I trusted him. He's like, there's days where I'm going to show your ass crack on camera. He's like, there's going to be days where I have to smack food out of your hand. There's going to be days where you look like garbage and I just get you waking up out of bed. I'm going to film everything, he goes. And he's like, people want real. They see perfect
Yes.
every day on the
It's
internet.
true.
People want the truth about your life, your lifestyle. Like I was so embarrassed, but so proud that I did it. There was a video that got a lot of attention. It was like 7 million views, but it was like me being barely able to get out of the couch, my back hurting super bad. I couldn't barely stand, and people saw how uncomfortable my life was. And I feel like I was always nervous to humanize myself to my audience.
Yeah.
Because then they don't look at me in such high regard and they look at me as just an average person. But every celebrity is just an average person. They don't really show it,
Yeah,
but
100%.
everybody deals with struggle and everybody deals with discomfort and embarrassment. But the internet is like a highlight reel for these people where they show only the best. And there's something special about showing the darkness and the grittiness and
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And we're in a world where like people are just using filters and stuff like that all
Yeah.
the time to try and hide their imperfections.
Yeah,
Even
I did the high camera angles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, look way up here to get a good image of me. There was one time, I'm going to tell you a really dark story that I don't tell many people. There was this girl. Her name was Stephanie. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. I don't think she's a bad person. But I was at my heaviest before I started losing weight the last time.
Yeah,
I think
which is what?
I was the heaviest, not the current heaviest, which was 665 where I started this journey, but before I had lost the weight, I got up to 558 and kind of looking like I am now, right?
Right.
And I was talking to this girl online forever, and she planned to come on down and we were going to start a relationship type thing if it worked out well. And that I would always talk to her with my angle up high and not being, like right here where you could see under my chin and my
Yeah.
whole body. I would always like FaceTime her laying in the bed with my camera up here. So I wouldn't say I was catfishing. People might call it that, but I was like, I was insecure about how I looked. So I would always like get the best angle and stuff like that. So when I talked to her, she thought I was super attractive and da 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 da. And then when it came time for her to come down here, I was like, hey, I just want to be honest with you and open. Before you take this plane trip, you don't have to come if you don't want to. But I just don't feel, super comfortable in my skin. And I want you to like me for my whole body. And I literally put the camera down, right?
Mhm.
Took off my shirt and spun. I said, this is what you sure you're okay with this? I mean, I have videos out there, but I always try and get the best representation of me in my videos, upper body shots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did a whole spin in the camera. I said, if you don't want to, it's okay. Just tell me now before you come down. And I think she was nervous to tell me, but I guess it was off-putting to her. So I think she was nervous.
Yeah, because that is a weird situation coming from the other perspective,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah. So looking back, I'm not upset with her, but
Yeah.
I guess she wasn't. But she came down anyway, and she tried to be okay with it, and she wasn't okay with my appearance. She didn't like how I looked. And at the time, I took it really hard because what happened? We were talking, we were flirting, we kissed when you got here, but that was like out of anxiety for her. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And she's just like, I broke down in the car. I'm like, something's wrong. What did I do wrong? And because she said she was okay with it, you know what I mean, before she came, because we already got the ticket and stuff. So she tried to make it work, but she came and she just wasn't accepting, and she didn't want to get into a relationship with me because of probably my appearance. And I talked to her, I'm like, just please be honest with me. I had a conversation in the car. She's like, Nico, I'm just not attracted to you. Like I thought I was over the phone. I said, I'm so sorry. I feel stupid, and it really hurt. But that's when I made the change the first time.
Yeah, sometimes it takes you to get kicked to
So like
make that kind of a change.
I do thank her, you know what I mean, for being honest and being the first person to say what I needed to hear, rather than everybody sugarcoating everything, because sometimes when you hit rock bottom or something bad happens, you need to make a change. So I went from 558 pounds. After she left, I said, I'm going to fix myself. And then I did.
Yeah.
And I went all the way down to 400, lost 189 pounds. And right then and there, I found somebody I really cared about. Her name was Ashley. We're in a relation. We talked for months, and then we were in a relationship for a year and a half, almost 2 years. But when I met her, I went and started taking her out to all these fancy dinners and, you know, buying food all the time. And then she'd cook the most amazing food. And we were just not good together when it came to that, because she wasn't like helping me lose the weight or keeping me accountable. She was enabling that weight.
Yeah.
And it just went all the way back up. Then we broke up. Then I got into a huge depression. And then I went all the way up to 665. And I'm like, enough is enough. It's hard to go to the bathroom. It's hard to do everything in life. I could barely stand. I could barely walk. I had to sit in all my music videos. I was heavy breathing all the time. It sucked to go up the stairs in my apartment. Taking a shower was a nightmare for standing that long. It hurt all my joints. I was in back pain all the time.
Yeah.
So I said, Anakin came and shot a video for me. And I was like, dude, I'm just so miserable. He's like, I can see, dude. What do you want to do about it? And I'm like, I said, last time I lost the weight, I talked to my old videographer and I said, hey, you know how cool it would have been to do a video that we're doing right now, like the walk and lose the weight.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a great idea. I'm like, what would it, take for this to happen, And we had a long discussion. We're like, you're thinking about pulling the trigger on this just like I am, huh? He's like, yeah. So we called a month later and we're like, let's do this. I need to make a change. I know having somebody here hold me accountable will make me do it.
Yeah.
And
man, it's like as if your ideal partner is like almost would be like a female version of Anakin.
Oh yeah. Anakin's great. Put a wig on him, slap some lipstick. Let's go, baby.
Too bad you guys aren't gay. That would be a lot easier. But
no, it's me and Emma right now.
Emma's not a cook, is she?
She's let me tell you about this girl.
She's an amazing gourmet chef.
No. She is a little bit younger. She is 23, I was a little hesitant at first, but she's got a very good head on her shoulders. She's very mature. And she's about to go to, she's a veterinary assistant working like overnight shifts doing surgery on animals and helping the doctor do that stuff. She's got a great job. And she's about to get her bachelor's in I think criminal psychology or something. And she's getting her master's. I know she's getting her master's in forensic psychology, but she's going to do this stuff like you see on CSI. I guarantee she's doing homework right now. She's 2 days of homework, bunch of days of work. She's busy all the time, but she still makes time every day to call me at least twice a day. And we've been talking every day. So I'm super excited to meet her. She actually got me a gift that's arriving to my house today that I got to go and open. Little does she know I got her a gift and it's coming on Tuesday.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm feeling good about it. She's a really great person.
Oh, that's great. I mean, and you must be like throughout your life, like your weight probably has really, I mean, you obviously told that one story, but like just in general across other stories, has it been tough for you, like romantically? I would imagine.
Yes. I feel like weight's always been the missing puzzle piece. Like at first it was like my weight, not having a career and but like weight's the last thing I feel like I need to fix. That and a little bit of mental health stuff. But Yeah, it's always been hard. I've been like, you would think somebody who gets as many views as I do, and like people think it's just like, oh, you must have all the girls. And like, I have so many female friends that have friend zoned me. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but I have a lot of good female friends. Even though they friend zone me, I still like there's I'm posting with females all the time. Like you'll see me because I have so many friends that like I wanted to date, but we didn't. And you know, it was like a friend zone thing. But I'm all the time like, people like Nico must have all the girls, because you'll see me with all my friends that are girls and we're always taking selfies and posting and da 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 da. But it's not like that. Like I wish I had an abundance of girls. I recently, which is weird because I'm showing the dark side of me, had a lot of activity in my inbox through this weight loss
No,
journey.
it makes total sense.
Like,
no, that makes total sense.
Because they're not seeing this depressed or perfect version of me. They're seeing like, oh, he's a real human. Oh, I like that about him. Oh, he's funny. Oh, he smiles. Oh, he does this. I just got hit on today in my inbox, but it's been happening a lot more now because they see like the dedication of this weight loss journey, the content I'm making, the friendship I have, me smiling constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling better than ever. I'm just a more confident person right now.
And being that vulnerable as you have been being on the post probably makes you just like feel better, even though it's like
I don't have to hide what I truly am, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like you took that jump off the bridge and you know, once you hit the water, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad, you know?
Yeah, it's not. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I was vulnerable. I'm glad I did that song Perfect with Chris Calico in my underwear. Like, all these things just like feel so much freer now. And I used to always think like, oh, girls only like me because I'm Massa Man. They don't really like Nico. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a huge worry. But now that I'm being my genuine self, I'm like, no, they really like Nico.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I remember one of the first things when we did that, our first video together, I remember one of the first things I was saying to you was like, take your shirt off. Let's.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know if I want to.
It was the first video I'm so glad I did. The first video we did together was Unhappy, right? That was the first one. And I had to use you ever again after this. When you talk to me like, Nico, we're going to do a video. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm going to draw real emotion. I'm like, so what do you want me to do? He's like, you're going to take your shirt off and cry while eating a cheeseburger. I'm like, what is this guy on crack? It's like, I thought you were wild, but I'm like, you know what? I've seen all his videos. He's never disappointed when I've seen his videos. So I'm just going to trust him. And if it doesn't work out, I'm just not going to put out the video and never work with him again. And then I've worked with you ever since.
I'm glad you trusted me on that one. I feel like it's just so, it's just so needed, man, to be authentic and to be real and to show what's real, even if it's not right. Like, it's more beautiful than anything. And I just love your posts lately.
You've been so supportive in the comments.
I really do. I really love them. I saw, you know which one I love is when, because it's like one of those things where it's like everybody's thinking it, and then you just like went out on the limb and were like, I've broken toilet seats before.
Yeah. Like what was the toilet seat cracker or whatever? Yeah.
Which is like, man, that's like literally something I thought about.
There's been so many, like, I'll even say some more stuff. I've been over friends' houses and like the walls are too narrow where their toilet is.
Oh no.
So I'm like this squeezing in and I can't actually pee in the toilet properly.
Yeah.
And just like, I've been in those situations where I'd be like, I have to leave your house for a minute to go use the bathroom. I couldn't even use their own bathroom because the walls were too narrow and where I had to sit, my legs would be touching and I couldn't like pee in it properly.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
You know, it's just like, there's so much. Like, I've been in a restaurant before.
Yeah.
This was not that long before I started the journey. I went in with, I think it was Sam, my friend Samantha, and I was sitting in the restaurant just eating, and the chair all of a sudden just broke. And I was just sitting, we're eating food. It's a whole fancy restaurant. The whole restaurant turned and looked at me. Boom! You just heard boom, and everyone and looked. And like, oh, I hope he's okay. And it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I sat up And I got up slowly, my ass crack showing to everybody as I'm getting up. And I'm just like so embarrassed. And I'm like, this is terrible. And Sam was like, I just hope you're okay. She's like, she was cool about it. She made me feel great about it and not embarrassed. But
It's like you almost have to immediately go into a comedy routine.
yeah, that's basically what I had to like kill him with laughter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. You know, just like,
want to see a magic trick?
you want to, ta-da! But yeah, we went and sat into a booth and they gave me a free meal. I'm like, well, it pays to be fat sometimes.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Enablers.
But they're like, oh, so if I break your more chairs, I get, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we're so sorry, you know. They just probably didn't want me to leave a bad Yelp review, but I'm not that person. That's my own fault, not theirs.
But these are the type of things where it's like when you are the one that says them first right out,
Yeah.
people can't, you know,
Can't talk shit.
these are the things like people are like, oh, I bet, I wonder. And, you know,
What you're thinking it happens.
Like,
oh, that was yeah.
What about
Dude,
that?
Swear to God, that was difficult as hell while I was at my heaviest to get around fully and do the wiping. It was. I might have been leaving residue. It's just like I'm good now. I can clean my booty cheeks great.
Yeah, you need to be at least under 600 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, dude, everything was difficult. Everything.
Yeah. Kevin, what about like flying? Have you flown? Like, when's the last time you flew in a plane?
Under 600 pounds for sure. So I think Southwest does this program, which I'm super grateful for because I'm going to be after flying soon because Zach Ass from Jackass, the movie Jackass 4, I think he was in, or 3. What's the newest one? Is it Jackass 4? I think the newest, it's either the last Jackass movie. The guy's in it, his name's Zach, and he reached out to me to be in a podcast, and Anakin had to travel to LA where the podcast was going to be. So we're going to document me flying as a big guy when the time comes. And Southwest is super cool and accommodating last time I've been. I just asked them, hey, I'm a bigger guy. I'm going to need 2 seats and they'll give you another one if there's, you know, space available. I just got to call and make accommodations.
Yeah.
So they give you, like, for big people. I saw it online, so I asked, like, yeah, we'll give you an extra seat so you can put it in the seat. No one can sit there. So I'll be able to get 2 seats. Hopefully. That's what the plan is because Anakin's going to squeeze next to me and he's not going to want to, you know, sit if there's 3 people in there.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
You know what I used to pull the move as a big guy? It's really fucked up, but in planes where there's not a lot of room, I'd get on a plane, right, where there's maybe no assigned seating or there is assigned seating, and what I'd do is I'd just get there first. I'd find an empty row, sit in it, and sit right in the middle and cross my arms and mean mug it. so anybody coming in, they're like, oh, sit in the next seat. Nobody wanted to. I just sat right in the middle, covering all 3. You know, I'm just like,
yeah. I mean,
they're like, I'm not sitting there. You know what I mean? And I'd usually have one person say, "Can you move over?" And then they got the aisle, I got the window, or vice versa, and no one sat in that middle seat. Like, I'm not sitting with that guy, so I'd find an empty row and just plant my butt there.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that I would have sat next to you.
Nobody wants to sit next to the big guy on an airplane.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Which is kind of, again, it's like one of those things, it's like is this a good problem or a bad problem?
It's like there's benefits, but there's also really downfalls.
They just start giving you free meals on the airplane too. It's like, here you go, sir.
When I would go on an airplane and they give you those little glasses with ice to pour the drink into, I'm like, can I have the whole can of apple juice, please?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this. Can I have 2 of those bags of peanuts and pretzels?
Yeah. Let's talk about food as an addiction too, because that's definitely
shake time.
You're on a timer.
Yeah, I do it every 2 hours. So I start at 10, then I have one at 12, then 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, and then 10. Yeah,
nice. And so, by the way, like these shakes, like that's all you're consuming is shakes?
Yeah.
And I've seen actually a lot of people in your comments asking this same question, which is like, isn't that unhealthy? Like, how did it?
So how I learned about this
and
did it last time is I was like, hey, I want to do the gastro bypass surgery. So
Okay.
this is a diet they put on people that are obese to lose weight fast for the surgery before you do the surgery. And then when you're on the surgery, you have to drink just shakes. You have to have a liquid diet. So the first time when I went to do this, it was called the OptiFast program. And you can only get these specific shakes through the hospital because they're part of the program. And it's by Nestle, but it's called OptiFast. And they would have me, they measure your height, your body size, and they told me 8 of those shakes a day. So I did it, and that's how I lost the weight fast last time. And I was doing so well in the shakes. I'm like, I don't need the surgery. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But then when I went back into the bad patterns that I was, I didn't pay attention to the therapy and do all this stuff to like keep the weight off and like change my life habits.
Yeah,
I just
so
went
much of
back
it's
to
mental.
normal when like, oh, now I can eat all I want again, you know?
Yeah.
And just went backwards. So this time I'm like, I looked at the back of the shake. I'm like, I looked what was in it, and you know, because I had pictures of it. And I was just like, what are comparable shakes? So I did that, and I looked and found these and stuff like that, and just doing these. But you do have to be monitored by a doctor because having as much protein could be bad on your liver. I mean, your kidneys or liver, something like your kidneys or liver or something like that.
How often do you do blood work?
When I was in that program, I was doing it every 2 weeks. This I'm doing every month with my primary care doctor.
Once
I'm
a
doing
month.
it on my own, however, but we've been doing it. He told me my iron was a little low to take iron supplements, so I'm doing that. But I'm taking some vitamins while I'm doing this,
Yeah.
But
What vitamins are you
I'm just taking iron, and like I was, right now it's iron is the only thing he told me to take. So
Oh, okay. So just like to make sure your
make
blood
sure,
is
yeah.
flowing.
Yeah. But I go back and see him soon, so we'll see if I need to adjust anything. But it's definitely good doing this to get monitored by your doctor.
Did the doctor mention that you had any like risks with this or?
No, he's like, we'll monitor you because I know they do this in bariatric stuff, patients and stuff like that. So they're monitoring me, and everything's good so far. So
it's probably getting better, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
For sure. Everything's like, the thing that blew me away is how bad I used to eat. I used to eat mayonnaise on everything, dude. I'd make the craziest stoner concoctions.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the amount of food I eat in a day, it's astronomical. It's kind of crazy.
Yes, tell me.
I will. I know you're interested in this. But like, dude, I'd put mayonnaise on almost everything, and a lot of it. I did like ramen noodles with croutons, a whole bag of cheese, a whole bag of 3 ramen packets with the salt stuff in them. I did a whole bag of like cheese, shredded cheese, whole bag of croutons, a can of corn or something, and globs of mayo, and mixed it all together. I'd eat shit like that, dude. I was doing some crazy stuff. But a typical meal for me would be like, I would have a whole bag of like any Tizer, like Tyson chicken bites or whatever.
Yeah.
That was like my breakfast. Whole bag of chicken bites with Maria's ranch dressing. That is the best ranch dressing I've ever had, by the way.
Shout out Maria's.
Dumped a bunch of it on the barbecue chicken. Would eat that. That was one meal. I'd say second meal would be like a pound of pasta with I cut up kielbasa.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen you eat a ton of pasta.
Yeah,
that's what
so
I know.
I'd cut up the whole kielbasa thing that they sell, and I'd put it in there, and that would be the meat with the pasta, and I get 2 Alfredo jars and dump them in.
Yeah,
that was second meal, and then it was like I would have a bag of chips in there somewhere, like a whole bag of Snyder's pretzels, with a Ben and Jerry's for dessert, pint. And then my last meal for the day would be like a whole pound of ground beef with a whole thing of instant mashed potatoes and a whole can of corn for like a shepherd's pie I'd make. That would be a typical meal in a day.
And like, I mean, at least every time you came over,
I was getting that Mr. Max shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
Mr. Max is really good.
It's so good. But I'd load it with everything.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you were like, oh, I'm spending $100 on Mr. Max. Screw it.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
The money too, probably for
oh my
all
God,
that food is
bad,
probably
so bad.
Right?
I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, me too. and you were drinking. What about the coffee? Like I know you were on.
I was having like 3 to 4 Dunkins a day, large iced caramel lattes with 4 pumps of caramel swirl, 4 pumps of liquid sugar.
Yeah.
And I was having like 3 large coffees a day. I
On
forgot about
top
my,
of-
on top of that meal that I told you about, I was having coffees all the time. I would always stop at Dunkin'. I'd be crazy on caffeine and just like, I don't know. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah. And you've essentially cut out all sugar right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like in the shakes, like 1 gram of sugar
okay,
per
so there is a
shake
little
or
bit.
whatever. Yeah. But
A healthy amount.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not crazy. Yeah.
Not 4 liquid pumps.
Yeah. No, I did 4 pumps with 4 liquid sugars on
Yeah.
top of the caramel pumps, which were full of sugar anyway.
Yeah. That change alone, when you cut out sugar. I mean, I've personally like had, my own, I guess, like version of a struggle with sugar, like where I like love chocolate, right? So I'll go on around the holidays. Sometimes I'll get a little crazy, and then I notice a distinct difference in how I feel when I eat a lot of sugar or don't eat a lot of sugar. It's a very huge difference. That's probably a big factor, I would assume.
For real, it is. Yeah.
Have you been able to like calculate whether that's a factor versus other aspects of the diet, or not really? Because it's just
I know that people just cutting out sugar and stuff drastically, I'm basically cutting out like carbs and sugar. Like I think the shakes put you in a state of ketosis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's another way I'm losing weight fast because of that. And the calorie deficit that I'm doing. I'm having about like 1,280 calories a day.
Yeah.
And with water and stuff like that.
So back to like when you were eating all that.
I don't know how many calories it was, but it had to have been over like 6,000 calories a day.
Yeah, I think even more.
Yeah, maybe 13.
But back when you were eating all that, you must have been like looking at it, thinking to yourself like, I shouldn't do this. But then you just
yeah, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Because so the reason I ate the most was because being an artist, I have so much. People get this backwards. They think I'm always busy, always doing something. I'm unobtainable. I can't be reached. I can't,
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm making 1 song a month. You know what I mean? So that takes 3 days out of the month to do. 1 day I write the song, 1 day I record the song, and 1 day I shoot a video. I'm free watching Netflix doing jack shit. You know what I mean? At home. And so I get very lonely, especially living by myself, where to fill that void of loneliness or sadness or boredom, I'm like, this is a quick fix. It's a shot of dopamine to make me happy. When I'm feeling lone or upset, food comforts me and it makes me feel at peace. So instead of finding something to do, I have to replace it with like watching a movie. But if I'm watching a movie, I associate it with eating food while watching a movie to be distracted and not feel bad so I can enjoy this movie. Like I was always bored. So I was always stuffing my face. Like I would eat when I was not needing food. I wasn't hungry. I wanted something that tastes good and gave me a dopamine hit. I was addicted.
And I mean, I feel like we can all, even people who are skinnier can relate to that.
Yeah,
Like
but every time I stopped eating the food, I felt sad. You know what I mean? So I had to fix the sadness.
well, like you said, you
I
had
had
like
to fix the loneliness.
you had 2 to 3 weeks of like extreme painful.
Withdrawals for sure.
Right.
I couldn't stop thinking about food. I wanted to jump out of my skin.
Because you just went cold turkey.
Yeah,
You were
just boom, shakes. I probably even the day before I did, I'm like, I gotta eat as much as I can today because it's the last food I'm gonna get, like type thing. And then Anakin came and I'm like, boom, cutting it out. So
what was your final meal? What was your final day of food? Was it
I
as
wanted
bad?
to get a steak from Texas Roadhouse. And I wanted prime rib and appetizers like the onion, whatever. I just wanted to stuff my face at Texas Roadhouse with the rolls and the butter and everything. And they didn't have the steak I wanted. I was so mad it was my last meal. I was like, they don't have prime rib today? They ran out? What the? Like,
it's probably for the best. Where are your parents in all this? Let me ask you that question.
I hurt my parents so much when it comes to that.
Yeah.
My dad was crying at night, to be honest with you. My mom was telling me, because my dad never wanted to show me. He was like, your father comes home crying every night because he doesn't want to lose his son. You're getting to such an unhealthy point. Dad doesn't know what to do. He's trying everything. they even came at a point to stay with me at my house to get me back into this diet, but then I ended up stop. Like before the show, I went back into the diet, but I just gave up. You
Yeah.
know,
Do you
um,
live by yourself?
I do now. Yeah, uh, I think I moved out when I was like 29.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
helped me in the beginning to support me with my music and believed in me. Thank God.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah. Yeah.
I have amazing parents. They're the best parents I could ask for. My dad's my hero. So like I have a very good relationship with them.
Yeah, and by good relationship in Italian, that means that you guys yell at each other all the time.
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. It's like stupid, you stupid. It's like, but we love each other and it's great. So
Yeah, yeah.
I love my family.
It's funny because I noticed that like when your dad would call you whenever you were with me, you would just be like yelling at him.
I'm
And I
like,
was
Dad, I'm shooting a video right now.
and I'm like,
all right, I'll
"Geez."
let you go. Bye.
It took me a second to really,
Yeah, but no, I
really
I
fully
love it.
click in. Like, oh, this is just an Italian thing. Like, it's Italian people just
Yeah, me and him are like a sitcom. We say stupid one-liners to each other and yell at each other all the time. It's like an Italian sitcom.
yeah, yeah. It really is. But no, that's great. So they must be stoked that you're.
Oh yeah. Last time I did this too, they were stoked. They're so proud of me. My dad's like telling everybody. He's like, look at the new video my son made. I know he's a hustler and he's gonna help me pump out these albums that I'm selling for sure. He's gonna go to everybody at work and make sure they each pay up. He's like, hey, my son got an album, you gotta buy it. He's always wearing my shirt when he goes to play poker. My dad loves poker. He's so good at it. He's going to Florida this weekend just to play poker for a 7-day vacation.
Nice.
Gonna go play poker.
It's gonna be a good week for him.
Yeah, he's gonna love it.
Yeah. You play poker too, right?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
You're pretty good.
Not anywhere close to my dad. Pretty good. I'm average.
He just like runs the table.
He's so good.
What makes you good? What makes him so good? Like, how does he like?
His,
What makes
his discipline? I think discipline's a huge, and his skill set.
Yeah.
Like, he always goes with a set amount of money that he doesn't bring an ATM card or nothing like that to go back into the ATM. He's very strict and disciplined. My dad like said, I'm gonna quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey. 2 weeks, didn't have a cigarette. He's been quit for 15 years probably. He was smoking 2 packs a day and just went cold turkey and quit. Like he's a very like, I'm gonna do something, I'm doing it. That's my dad. And I admire that about him. So when he plays poker, he this is a crazy fact about him. He should go professional, in my opinion. He's only since before I was born, he was going to Foxwoods Casino, right? And he goes at least 3 times a week. He has been playing for over 33 years. Like since he was going to Atlantic City, but when Foxwoods opened, since it opened, which has been over like 29, maybe 30, I don't know how long it's been open for, but it's a very long time. He was playing before I was born, but he kept track of his wins and losses in a spreadsheet document. He had a Excel sheet or whatever that he'd put and it'd calculate his wins and losses.
Oh, nice.
Every year, except for last year, he's had a winning year. He's never had a losing year.
Wow.
Last year was his first losing year, and it was only like $300. But because he plays so much, he gets so many points, like hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of points, where he's gotten, fills up his gas tank every time he's there. He gets free access to a food lounge, so he eats dinner, lunch, and breakfast if he's there all day for free. So he's getting free meals. He gets hotels. He can get hotels there, and he can go to the shopping mall and buy dinners with his points at different, like Hell's Kitchen. He could pay with his points right now. Like he still made so much, even though he lost only 300. That was his first ever losing year in like 30 years. So
wow,
it's like a second job to him for sure.
That's cool.
He's definitely very disciplined and good, and he knows how to play the game really well. It is luck of the cards some days, but for the most part, to mitigate your losses and get consistent wins like he does, you have to be very strict and very disciplined.
Yeah.
And very good at it.
Yeah.
So
let's get back to talking about your music and like
Yeah.
the connection to I want to talk more about mental health and
okay.
and how your music relates to your sort of because part of this whole like weight loss journey you're doing arguably the biggest part is mental health related.
Yeah. for sure.
Are you on like any
Yes,
medication?
I'm on lorazepam, which is 120 milligrams, like a mood stabilizer.
Yeah.
And it keeps you. So I'm bipolar 1. I've struggled with mental health my whole life. I have,
When did they diagnose that?
uh, at a young age, I've been seeing doctors, but when I got more into my adult, like 18-ish, I was diagnosed with bipolar 1. So I can,
Gotcha.
if I'm not medicated, I'm not fun to be around. I'm not a good person.
Yeah.
I'm not great. Being on medication and staying on it and taking care of my mental health for years, I'm great. Like, but if I wasn't on my medication right now, I'd get super highs for a little bit and then I'd be manic and I'd be hyper and I'd be talking a million miles a minute and I'd be very not fun to be around because I would be over the top too much. Or the opposite could happen and I'd get super low where I want to die and kill myself and I don't want to exist and I'd be in a sinking depression and it would alternate from high to low,
Do
from
you
high to low.
do you have like a lowest moment that you can recall? Like if you had to say like this was my lowest moment.
I have never taken an attempt to kill myself. Like I've never done things, but I remember not getting out of bed for like a week and
Just a full week.
wanting to die, but not wanting to like, and but not like I would like not shower. I'd cry every day. Uh, didn't take care of myself. Felt like I had no friends. Felt like I was alone. No one could make me feel better. I'd cry for weeks, and I just said, "What is the point in life? I don't want to be here anymore." You know, like I've been there for sure. Plenty of times when I wasn't taking medication or doing the things I needed to do to take care of my mental health. It was a really dark place. That's how I wrote Fallen Angel.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you
And
know,
yeah, and what's beautiful is that your music has sort of come out of that.
yeah,
You've turned
trying to
those
get out of it for sure. I still talk about it a lot because that's what made me who I am today. Um, and you know, but I've definitely been to that low point. I was too scared to do anything to take my own life.
yeah.
Uh, so I never really attempted, but I've been hospitalized so many times in mental hospitals going through that. Like it just wasn't fun. It was really dark in my life.
Well, you've been to mental hospitals?
Many of times.
Oh, I did not know that.
Starting as a kid, I was acting out. I was not on the right medication. I was like, I was a terrible child. I remember biting a doctor in the leg. I'm gonna give you some crazy stories right now
Yeah,
that
I
no one
want
else is
to.
ever gonna hear.
I want to hear like what's inside of a mental hospital. Like,
You would think it's like the movies, but it's not. It's
yeah,
nothing like the movies.
yeah. You think
It's
one
like,
flew over the cuckoo's
yeah,
nest?
it's nothing. The movies give it such a bad stigma.
Yeah,
It's literally picture a big circular room, okay, with like a desk and staff and a phone, right?
yeah.
And then hallways that go in each direction of different rooms. And there's just a bunch of rooms, almost like a one big common room where you can like, you know, there's TV. They do music therapy every day or whatever. It's like group therapy session where you go and you meet with a couple counselors and you all talk as a group. Then you get individual stuff and you talk to doctors about adjusting your medication. And it's a bunch of like rooms, boys room with boys, girls room with girls. Um, and you have like a roommate. There's 2 beds per each room, and there's hallways that go down and different things. And all the doors are locked. So you can't get out unless they unlock it and let you out. And you can't get in. But it's nothing like they're zapping your brain or you're wearing a hospital garment. You're wearing normal clothes. These are normal people going through some mental issues. There's some people that are a little cuckoo.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I was gonna say there must be some
For the most part, it's mostly
interesting characters.
people like you and me just having a really difficult time, and they bring a cafeteria thing, a tray comes through, and like they it's like a food buffet cart or whatever, and they feed you meals every day, and like this is what you're having for this. They have like a group for like arts and crafts, or this is when you're like a teen adult. They have like activities, like they have a person come in today, we're gonna make arts and crafts if you want or something, or you can join if you want to, you don't have to. And it's basically like a vacation, dude. It's like you go and you just associate yourself with a bunch of like people like yourself
Yeah,
going through something.
how
You-
much of that the association to other people is is the thing that helps? Did it help to have?
It helped to see others going through similar stuff. What are you saying?
Was there any characters in there that you recall that like gave you a specific boost or like made an impact on you?
Some people had it so bad they made me feel better about myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like for sure. Yeah. There was some really severe cases in there. I remember this one time there was a guy in there. He had come in from the emergency room because he was doing bath salts, and he was on a crazy trip, and he told me a story the next day. He's like, dude, I'm like, what is it like doing drugs? And he was like,
Yeah,
so
what's
he told me,
bath salts like?
dude, he told me he got so bad on a trip that he saw translucent spiders the size of me, and he was on his bed when the police
The
came.
size of you?
Yes, the size of me. And they were crawling and
That's
trying to
horrifying.
attack him, and he was on his bed swinging a baseball bat as the cops came in trying to whack these invisible spiders.
man.
Oh, like, that's crazy.
So that's like just a pure hallucination.
Yeah. So like there was some crazy stuff. It was some people were very angry in there and didn't want to be there. Like there's a lot of stories you can tell from there, but yeah. I wasn't a good child, man. I was very hyperactive and a piece of shit when I was younger, and no one would have ever thought I would turn out to be this like gentle, calm, giant person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm complete now that I'm medicated and doing completely well. I've taking the medication. I'm a firm believer in taking medication. I do hate how in the beginning it's like a trial stage
Yeah.
where they're like putting you on different doses to see what works with you, and it could mess you up or it could do good. But once I found the right balance of medication and I seek the therapy, and I got used to taking the medication, because my biggest problem was I'd get on the medication, be like, I'm feeling good, I don't need it anymore, and get off. That's when shit started to get bad, because it wasn't good every time I got off. So I learned every time I got off it was bad, but my life was always progressing every time I got on the right balance. So I decided to stick with it and take it every night and make it a part of my routine. And my whole life went in such an upwards trajectory. I became successful. I became a better person. I changed the outlook people had on me, because they always used to view me as this crazy person or super depressed person they didn't want to be around, to this nice, amazing person who's very talented, who has these skills, and everybody wanted to get to know.
Would you say that like any of the medication that you've been taking
Messed with me. Yeah.
it has messed
Yes,
with you?
not recently, not since I found the right balance, but I never used to blink as much as I do. Because I took the medication, it was like a stimulant medication with another medication. I had a tick inside of me that didn't come out, but when I took the medication, it brought it out in me. So that's why when I get nervous or I don't even know I'm doing it, but I know you guys have seen me blink excessively before, you know?
Yeah.
So when I'm doing music videos, I try and pry my eyes open while I'm rapping and do this character. But when I'm just being normal, you're going to see me blink. And the more we talk about it, I'm just going to blink up a storm now.
That's interesting. What medication?
I totally forget, but it was like a stimulant medication. And I never had it. And one day I'm sitting playing a board game at school with some kids in a classroom. And they're like, why are you blinking so much? Why are you blinking at me? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. And I went home, like, I can't stop blinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Kids are so like so brutal.
Yeah,
Man.
I know.
What is, in your opinion, like what's the youngest age that somebody should be put on this kind of medication?
I always hated my parents for putting me on medicine at a young age and seeking therapy. I just hated it.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful they did now.
How young were you?
I was like 10 or like I was pretty young.
Well, 10 is not 10 is
It was like maybe 8 to 10.
nowadays. 10 is not even young for some people, right?
Yeah, I was at like 8 to 10. They noticed something was wrong with me. My mom got more into diving into mental health and stuff like that, and researching things and figuring out stuff. But
Did they diagnose you with bipolar at 10?
no, it was like
That was
they
later, right?
they
That was
started
like
with
18.
like ADHD and different things. I know I had sensory disorder as a kid, so I had to like get brushed with a special brush.
Yeah.
It's like a clear bristle brush, but for example, I'd come home from school and my mom was like, change into something. And I took my whole closet down, changing into clothes. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right on my skin. I'd throw it off. My whole closet was on the ground by the end of it. And it's like certain clothes didn't feel right on my skin. Certain textures didn't feel right. It just bothered the hell out of me. I couldn't do I was raised Catholic, so I had to go to like a first communion and wear like a suit and a tie thing. And that they like told me, if you do this, we'll get you McDonald's and whatever you want, you know? So like
Oh, no.
I pushed through, but I was the most uncomfortable kid there for sure. But yeah, to fix that, I had to like wake up my mouth with like sour things and trick my senses and brush myself with a clear bristle brush before I put on my shirt so it felt okay on my skin. It's some sensory therapy stuff, but
When did your weight gain like really start happening?
when I
Oh,
got on medication.
it did, right?
Yeah. So I used to be, I have like pictures of me as a kid. I was skinny and fit and super, when I was hyper and stuff and I thought I had ADHD, I was probably manic and I was running around like a nutcase and exercising and doing all these things and getting up and moving. And then when I got on that, it kind of like mellowed me down, you
Mhm.
know? The thing about it, which is the hardest part to get used to, is everybody who gets manic loves that manic feeling. It feels great. It feels like you're on top of the world. I don't do drugs, but if I had to describe it, and people say cocaine's what, an upper, right? Is that what
Oh, yeah.
they say? So it makes you feel like alive, you know, you're great. And that's what you feel like when you're manic, I'd have to assume.
Yeah.
And it's the most happiest, purest feeling, but you're also pushing everybody else away because you're too much. It's like being
Yeah.
drunk at a bar and everyone else is sober and you're the drunk guy being obnoxious.
Yeah, I hate it when people are on cocaine.
It's
the worst.
I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you.
But-
But I just think like people are too much, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So when you stop feeling that feeling and you're so used to having it all the time, it's like, I'm not happy anymore. You're like, I
Mm.
don't feel happy anymore. But that's not what happy is. That's overly happy. You know what I mean? But I never got sad anymore. I wasn't getting constantly depressed. The mood stabilizers even you out and keep you in the middle, not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
So people will say that are used to being manic, it makes me feel like a zombie. You know what I mean? It makes you feel normal and calm, and you're just
Mhm.
not used to it yet. You know, so you just have to get used to that feeling, and it's a beautiful thing once you're comfortable in that feeling.
Yeah, because it's almost like you're like chasing happiness ultimately when
Yeah.
you're living your life.
Yeah.
So
From going to extreme happiness to mediocre is scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
But you
interesting.
don't
to
ever
think
want to
about that.
experience those lows. They're not fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's almost like the higher the highs, the lower the lows are
Exactly. The
are
higher
gonna
the
be.
highs, the lower the lows. And it's very dangerous because you're wishy-washy. I'd rather be in the middle all day now that I know what it's like than to be overbearing and annoying and so sad I want to kill myself all the time.
Yeah, the perspective
Yeah.
is so important. It's like you have this one perspective, um, unmedicated. Maybe you have another perspective now medicated, and then
Yeah.
as that shifts, you're
But like it's been so long since I've been manic, so I don't miss it anymore. But it used to be a feeling that I loved. I thought my mom was like, "You're acting crazy. You're getting aggressive. What is wrong with you?" And I think you're getting manic. I'm like, I don't want to take medication. I love how I am right now. I'm happy. Can't you see I'm happy? You know what I mean? I'm happy. and she was scared. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was just like an angry, evil, thought I was happy person. It's not good.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy thing when people become manic. I've had some experiences with that for sure. Um, the my perspective is like I've never taken well besides like Tylenol a couple
Yeah.
times when it comes to pills or anything prescribed or anything like that. I'm on nothing.
I won't
I'm
take
just
pain pills.
nothing.
I'm scared of it because addiction has run in my family when it's come to that. I know I suffer with food addiction. Last thing I want to do is get addicted to heroin or some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like if they're like I do a surgery, I'd try and take the pain as much as I can without taking like a pain medication. You know, I just don't want to even play with that stuff, seeing how fentanyl killed my cousin because he was on heroin and got a,
Yeah.
My uncle struggled with like drug addiction his whole life. And
So many people, man. It's
Yeah.
like it's actually crazy how many people we lose to, how many I've lost people to that. Many people.
yeah,
Many. It's crazy. It's like a pandemic of of bad
Yeah,
drugs.
it's taken too many friends that I've known like in school and stuff. They're just gone now, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wanna
So
be
it's
that
good that you're
person.
aware of like,
Yeah.
you don't dip into that lane.
yeah. I won't even take like quick fix anxiety pills because I take citalopram for my anxiety, but it's not like popping a Xanax. and it's a quick fix. I don't take quick fix drugs.
Yeah.
For example, that like alter your mood really fast and give you like, so Xanax, right? You're feeling anxiety, you want it to stop, boom, within like, a certain amount of time, you just feel relaxed and calm.
Yeah.
That can get really addicting because like, oh, if I feel like that, I just boom, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it becomes an addiction. You're always taking them. So I talked to my doctor because I was worried about, I don't want to get addicted to anything. And we talked about a mood stabilizer, citalopram, which is an antidepressant, which can work for, I believe it is, don't quote me on that, but it helps with my anxiety for sure. Taking it for a week or 2 weeks straight helped with my anxiety huge. It made me, but it's like, it doesn't just quickly act. You have to have it in your system for a while and take it every day. And it doesn't numb you like you would be on Xanax. It just helps suppress the anxiety. Xanax is a very powerful thing where you just start feeling drowsy and you just feel calm. It's almost like taking like sleep medication where you're just like relaxed,
Now, when you say you're an anxious person, you have anxiety. When you have anxiety, what does that mean? Does that mean your heart pounds? Does that mean you're?
It's an uncomfortable feeling in my gut. Heart doesn't necessarily pound. Like I'm not having a panic attack, but nervous to try things, nervous to do different things, afraid of judgment. I've gotten so much better with it doing the music thing. Like whenever I do a music video or I have to rap in front of random strangers on the street or something, like I can do it when I'm performing and push myself through it now. I've gotten way better at that. But before it was like, I don't want to go out with people. I
Mm,
didn't want to go in public.
just had
Y-
confidence issues essentially.
Yeah, but like there was an anxiety to a crippling fear of, you know what I mean? So it's just like, causes a lot of like discomfort. You could tell when I'm in a situation that I don't like, I get really uncomfortable, and it was because of anxiety for sure.
Is it kind of like dark thoughts that you have that you imagine like this thing could
Not like
play out?
paranoia in worst case scenario, but it's like you have a feeling in your gut like that is just, I don't know how to explain anxiety other than like the fear of doing something and you feel it, you know?
Yeah, I'm just curious about anxieties in general because I feel like everybody's a little different with
Yeah.
how they experience anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it where like, for example, I've had really bad anxiety when I was blinking a lot, and I was so anxious and had anxiety when it came to driving when I first started. I'd get to a location, I'd be so scared to drive because I was blinking and I was like ticking, my ticks came out of me. I was so anxious. I was like blinking and nodding my head like that while I was driving. And it was so hard to see because of how nervous I was to drive. So I'd get to a location and park my car and be like, you have to come pick me up. Can't do it. Can't drive back home. I can't do it. I need somebody to pick me up. So,
Yeah, just like freak
but the
out.
thing about anxiety is the more you push yourself through the uncomfortableness, the more your body adjusts. So for example, I have severe OCD and it causes anxiety if I don't do my compulsion. So,
What's your compulsion?
uh,
If you don't-
um, so I, this is weird to talk about. I don't really talk about this, but I have like relationship anxiety, and it has to do with OCD, and it has to do with confession a lot. This is really weird, and people might not understand what I'm about to say right now. So let me break it down with what my aunt had. So you, because OCD is not what the media makes seem like. Oh, I need to clean. I have OCD.
Yeah.
I need things straight, or else I go get anxious. Um, my aunt OCD runs in my family. My aunt had it, and it had to do with fire. Okay. So there's so many different forms and so many different forms of OCD, but it basically breaks down to you can have a thought to do something. And if you don't do said action or act on your compulsion, you build up with severe anxiety. And there's two ways to do it. Either you do the action, your anxiety immediately is a quick fix and it goes away and it's gone until it happens again next time. So, for example, you'll see people walk by a stove, and if they don't touch it 1, 2, 3 times like that and do it in that order,
Right, like Monk.
yeah, like that, yeah. Perfect example. If you've seen the show Monk, that's something. So I dealt with, like, I had a special count that I had to do things. It morphed throughout my life, throughout the whole things, but I had that. So I would have to like flick a light switch 3 times or go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right about now, and then walk away and it was gone. Or it used to be me sticking my finger down my throat. It was some crazy stuff. And it doesn't make sense to people who don't have it. Like, why would you have to do that? That doesn't make sense. OCD doesn't fucking make sense, dude. So I have this new form of it. It's not new, but it's like new to me. And it's affected a lot of my relationships. So, and this is going to sound really weird. This is so awkward for me to talk about, but you're going to get good content out of it. So,
Well, and it's good to,
so
you know.
let's say I'm in a relationship, okay? When I get close to somebody, I have to confess everything to them, no matter what. And it's weird. And I don't want to, because as much as people think like, oh, honesty is a good thing in a relationship, you want the most honest. But if my girl was like, hey, do you think I look good in this dress?
Yeah.
I'd have to tell her that, no, you don't look good today.
Yeah, it's like liar.
Yeah, it's so negatively affects a relationship, and it's like a relationship OCD, and it has to do with confession. So I've been intimate with a partner, right, before, but a thought of another partner jumped in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a bad boyfriend. I have to confess what just happened. If I don't, I fill up with the most anxiety. She can see me getting uncomfortable, and regardless, like, why are you feeling uncomfortable right now? We're having sex. I'd be like, so I'm there, and I've done it
like,
before.
I'm thinking of my ex.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm just
no,
I was just picturing me and my ex having sex in my head while we're having sex, and I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be doing this right now. I care about you. I love you. Please don't hate me. You know what I mean? Like, and then it ruins the mood.
Yeah.
Or I've been out and I'm like,
it's coming out of your mouth.
if I think a girl's
too,
attractive or something, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to be like, fuck. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, I just looked and I thought that girl was attractive. So I have to tell her that girl's attractive. So in my last relationship, that was a huge factor of, it was getting really rocky when I was talking about that girl, Ashley, because I cared about her so much, and thinking back at it with a clear head, like I loved her. I thought I was going to marry her, but I would always question myself because I'd be having these thoughts and having to confess constantly. And she made me double think what I was thinking. And I truly loved her and wanted to marry that girl. I thought she was the one.
Yeah.
But her self-confidence became so low because all she could hear, because the more it happens, it just happens and repeats itself. And the only way to fix the issue, right, is to sit in that discomfort until you forget about it. So I talked to a therapist and she's like, pretend your anxiety or your OCD is like an ocean. You have two options. You can walk in, it's cold, so you jump out immediately and that's the quick fix, right? Or you can walk into the ocean, sit in the ocean, and the coldness adjusts to your body and you adapt.
I love that.
So that was the metaphor. She broke it down and I really understood it. So like getting in, like talking with this girl, Emma, that I've been talking about, I'm dealing with it super heavily. It's already started back up. The second I started catching feelings for her, it started back up. And I had to explain to her, this is what happens in my life. And if it gets really bad, I will seek more help for it. But I just wanted to warn her in advance, like things like this could happen. And she's been very good at dealing with it so far. You know what I mean? So she's making me feel comfortable, which is a really great sign. So I want to be able to be myself in front of people and not have to worry. But I've read forums and threads that this girl was having the same issue and her boyfriend thought she didn't love her when she really loved him.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes people second guess because they don't really understand. It's not fun to have, and I fear it every time I get into a relationship. But her being Ashley being long distance and things like that of that nature, and missing home and all that added on top, where she didn't think she was beautiful enough to be with me, and she had all these doubts in her head, which I caused because of my OCD. You know, she's like, you're not the person that I wanted to be with because this is too much for me. And then I got into a depression near the end. She's like, I can't handle this. This is too much for me. And, you know, the whole time she's like, we're stronger than your OCD. We got this. And she was super encouraging, but at the end it took a toll on her and she left. So unfortunately, but I'm doing better for myself. I'm taking care of my mental health more. I'm trying to fix my physical health and do all the right things. So I'm hoping to find love soon.
Stay in the middle, man.
Yeah, stay in the middle. Stay in the middle path.
Not too high, not too low.
I can't believe you got this good of an interview out of me. I never say this stuff ever anywhere. So
that's good.
It is good.
Last question. What are you doing? What are you most excited about right now? Like, what's the future hold for you? And like, where do you see yourself in like a year, I guess?
I want to have a fit body.
Yeah, right.
I want to be more successful in music. To be honest, the thing I'm most excited about right now is my album. It comes out in like a couple days on the 28th. You know what I mean? So I put a lot of work into this. We did a lot of cool music videos for it. Still got to make more music videos for it. But I think this is my proudest body of work that I've ever done. And I'm super excited. I'm selling signed physical copies and everything. And I I want to see where this journey takes me because I have a lot of cool things happening. Disc golf company, because I play disc golf, reached out to me
Yeah, I've
from the
seen that.
journey, gave me discs. An energy drink company sent me energy drinks. I tried them, they're good, but I can't really have them. You know, I don't want to be that unhealthy. So, a guy who makes custom shoes is making me a massive man shoe. I got to show you the picture of it. It's wild. I said, make it green and black, have my Massive Man logo. It's sick. And I'm going to show it to you. He's going to be sending it soon. We're going to incorporate it in a video and show it off. What else? The guy from Jackass wants me on a podcast.
Great.
So that's going to be a cool experience. Opportunities are coming. The Control Shake sponsored me. Like all cool things are happening. I really don't know where this stuff's going to take me, but it's really exciting.
Oh
So-
yeah. No, I'm excited to see where you end up, man. I feel like this weight loss journey is just so amazing. And I'm glad to see that people are like, you know, really supporting you and you know, and then obviously there's the hate comments in between.
Oh, I loved reading the hate comments for a video. Some people are so creative. Like Anakin said, we need quality hate.
yeah. I got to come up with some good ones. I'll try to.
There was Snacklemore, Entree 3000, some crazy ones that people were coming up with. And I'm like, listen, I hate haters. I love them at the same time because they give me attention. But when you're creative like that, it's funny for me to look at. Like,
Yeah, it's like a diss track.
I enjoy it. It's like, yo, that was really creative. You're like really good at coming up with disses. Like, let me do a song with you, maybe. You know, like some people really surprise me in their hate, and it's fun because I know people troll on the internet. They say things they wouldn't normally say to somebody in person, and when you're super creative about it, I actually kind of like it.
Well, you're amazing, man. Is there anything else you want to say to
Dude,
to the Young Posse fans?
Oh,
Because that's who's watching this.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Thank you, guys. There's so much, dude. Well, let me talk about the Young Posse. For those who don't know who are watching this that aren't Young Posse fans, Ben works with this Korean pop group called Young Posse, and he started shooting K-pop music videos. And he's like, dude, I want you to be a part of what I'm doing. And I acted out as this character in 3 different videos of theirs. And these girls are doing amazing, and they're going super viral, and they're doing awesome. I met them when they came to New York. Super awesome people. And I've been in these videos, and I'm the food guy in the video.
Yeah.
Like I'm massive donuts. I'm massive. What's the other with the fast food? Just massive. It's called. Yeah.
You're the fat American.
I'm the fat American
character.
stereotype that goes like, "Hey, welcome to Massive." You know,
this was specifically stolen from you know, the Korean culture.
Yeah, the Korean culture. Yeah,
they're always taking photos.
Yeah,
like
they're always
this,
taking
right?
photos. Like, but I love being a part of every one of those videos, and the fans from Korea are super supportive. They're like, Massive Man is the 6th member of Young Posse and different stuff like that. And it just makes me so happy that I'm like known in Korea and stuff like that for being like a character in some of the coolest music videos I've ever been a part of. So
yeah, it was so funny seeing you next to them and seeing
yeah,
the
them
size
being so
difference.
small and me being this
Because you're
giant.
tall too.
I'm
You're-
6'5", yeah.
Yeah. 6'5" now. What, you shrunk an inch?
Can I tell you something? I always thought I was 6'6". Went to the doctor recently, and they're like, "You're 6'5" and a quarter." I'm like, "What?" So I'm just telling people I'm 6'5" now.
You're shrinking.
Yeah, apparently.
The weight,
Like literally, I'm
the weight
shrinking this
loss
way, and I'm
is-
shrinking this way.
Yeah. Hey man, better to be a little
Come in
shorter.
4'5"
Yeah.
the next time you see me.
Yeah. Well, amazing, man. I appreciate you doing this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing it. You're awesome. You're inspiring, and I love the vulnerability, and I love just everything you're putting out.
You know,
right
we
now.
have a lot of cool, like little clips we can do as short form content.
Oh my
You
God,
better
yeah.
take advantage of that and make some good short form content clips to post on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Reels, and Facebook. You need to be doing that short form content too. You're the king of long form content, but we got to get you into the short form too.
I'm only posting long form versions of this podcast.
No, you're not. You're going to get out of
I
your comfort zone.
refuse.
Make him post short content.
They need to see the whole thing or else.
That, because when you do the short form content and you can link be like, this came from this full interview, you'll drive so much traffic to the long form.
Yeah. Well,
you better. You definitely need to clip. If you're going to do a podcast, you need to clip them into like.
I'm gonna Franken cut it now. I'm gonna make a short edit of you just like saying all different parts of the whole thing to make it look like you're like just a crazy person.
Yeah. But no, if you talked about my relationship OCD, having to the crazy clip would be me confessing to my girlfriend that I just slept with that I was thinking about another girl.
Yeah.
Like you got to post that as like a short clip to get people's interest, and then you clip and be like, watch the full podcast here.
I'm gonna make the edit to be like, yeah, my girlfriend Anakin is.
That's crazy.
Just do stuff like that.
I was picturing Anakin. Well, like,
I am skinny.
That's crazy.
Wait, what? All right, man. Well, I think we could probably call that.
Okay.
But thanks, dude. I appreciate you.
Not a problem.
The end. and cut.